Hey customizers! We are going to carry on with our custom. So taking the whole thing apart, and right now we're going to look at the canopy. This is one solid piece of clear plastic with some red painted on it. So if we scratch, it's not a separate piece of plastic for the canopy frame, it's all one piece. So if we scratched off this red paint, you would find this tinted plastic underneath it. Now we have to do more than just mask off the canopy here and then place it into the hull. The reason being is that you can see the color on the other side. Now, if you're fine living with that, then that's obviously your choice, and all the power to you. However, if, depending on where you display this and how much light hits it, you might always see that, and it might eventually wear you down. So, fixing that issue is not as bad as you think. All it takes is some masking tape. I've got some extra wide painter's tape here, and the answer to this problem is deceptively simple. What we're going to do is we are going to make masks for this side by masking this side. The shapes are the same, so all I'm going to do for the masking is I'm going to basically make two masks for each part. And one set is going to go on the inside of the canopy, and the other side is going to go on the outside of the canopy. So the reason why we're doing the inside first is, yeah, you could technically put tape on the inside and try and draw a line there, but why bother when the canopy on the moccasin actually stands proud of the glass itself? So in that case, the molding job they did benefits us greatly. So I'm just burnishing the tape in there as best I can. You can use your fingernail. If you don't have any fingernails, you can use a pencil or something like that. Just to make sure it's in there nice and tight. So then we take our X-Acto knife. In this case, you want to make sure you got a nice sharp blade in there. And then we're going to slowly and steadily cut this down and away. Just like that. This is probably the most tedious part, right? I mean, we've masked on other projects before, but once we get into canopies here, I'm having airplane model building flashbacks here. So then we remove the tape, and we have a masked canopy frame. Now what we're going to do, if we're going to do the inside, which we are in this case, is we're going to pry this very nicely off the canopy. Just like that. Be as gentle as you can, right? This is, there's room for error and stuff like that. It can happen. Then we're going to line it up on the inside here, and this will take some finagling here, so I'm trying not to block the view as best as I can, but just bear with me here. And we're going to line this up, because it's the exact same shape, right? Except it's just on the other side of the glass. Like that. And like that. That looks a little off, so it's going to take some time here, but and more than one try. If you don't get it on the first try, don't settle, because it'll drive you nuts, because then you'll get the other color showing through as well. Could you touch it up with a brush? Yeah. Don't forget too, is that it'll show through the other side of the plastic, and then you'll have even more of a heartache trying to sort it out from the other side, because you can't without painting the canopy glass itself. So this part's going to be a little long, but you'll understand why when we're done, because we don't want to settle and have it bother us later. There we go. And I have to take into account too that this is relatively thick plastic. So you're going to maybe see some of the pattern. Like if you hold it at an angle, you'll be able to see through the tape there. But I think we're there. We're there. Worst case, we can always employ the scraping method and scrape it away there later. So there's the inside of the canopy done. Next is the side glasses, and we'll make sure these work the same. I'm just going to switch to a blue tape here so I'm not wasting extra white tape. If I remember correctly, the blue tape is slightly less tacky than the green, but right now we're just masking off clear parts, so we're not concerned about lifting any paint off of the model. There's that detacking method I showed you in a previous series. Doing it 2 or 3 times on your pant leg there. Just it's best to do it on denim, I guess, because you don't want to pull up any pant threads and then have those potentially ruin the line of your masking. So I think, oh, of course it's got to be a little bit of a weird shape in there. You see there's that kind of funny angle there. They couldn't have just made it nice and straight to make my life easier. But hey, the price you pay for having the adventure. So same thing. And we're just going to cut that right along there, and right along there. Something I've noticed with masking is sometimes, because you might not be able to get the tape all the way in there, you can put little tears in the outside and stuff to kind of get it to conform better, because we don't, this is all excess tape here. And if that doesn't work, you can always peel up the tape and look at it, or you can look at the other side for reference. In this case, I think we're doing okay. Any mistakes you make, you can always rectify with smaller pieces of tape or that liquid masking stuff I showed you. I'm pretty sure I showed you that. If not, I'll show it to you. And we'll remove that. See if we've got the... No, see it's coming up there, so we'll just recut. Let go. You know you want to help me. Let's go. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Little fix up there, but that's no problem. Get rid of the excess. That piece there, it's being a little stubborn. This is like, if you ever watch model building videos on YouTube, there's folks here that do some fantastic work, but the amount of time they spend masking off a multi-framed canopy just blows my mind. So, you know, kudos to them for being so high-speed, low drag about it. There is a little bit of a phenomenon here that's playing with us, and I'll show it to you up close here. So you can see that you might notice there's some clear plastic right there. It's because of the way the paint was put on the canopy frame. Like, that feels elevated to me, so I'm just going to say that that's imperfect factory application of paint. And I'll totally wear whatever happens after that. Because we can always touch up, right? We can always touch up. And in this case, I think it's best if we're bold and try something big and new, which is painting both sides of a canopy. If it was clear, like if there was no red paint on this, you just wanted to paint the canopy, you could absolutely get away with just painting the outside of it, because there's no color to hide on the inside, because there's no color on it at all. So like if we looked at the X30, for example, right? It's got that canopy framing on it, but it's clear, they never painted it. So if you wanted to paint it, you only have to paint the outside, really, unless it's a personal preference thing, to hide or to paint the canopy frame. So now when we've taken the tape off of this side, it's not going to go on the same part on the inside. It's actually going to go on the opposite side, right? Because we're flipping the shape over. It's almost like doing the mirror image of. And the other part for this is that we're doing it in a corner. And there's already a line in there, but let's see how well this goes. And this is really a matter of patience and perseverance. So I think we're actually pretty good there. This is an experiment for me too.
Now back to G.I.
I don't normally paint the insides of canopies. So as you can see there now, the blue tape is firmly on the inside. There's a little bit of plastic showing through there, but I think that that's still compensated for by the other thing. So we'll watch and shoot. With my luck, it'll probably end up being a mistake. But warts and all, right? Warts and all. So now we do the same thing to the other side. And I always keep my the scrap tape that I cut off, I always keep that off to the side during a project, because even though it's a weird piece, it might come in handy for doing some other small masking that may or may not be required. So we're trying not to waste any of our resources, right? So now I got to make sure I do the correct side again. So now we got to do the opposite sides. So we're actually going to put tape on the put tape on my finger, so I stopped throwing things everywhere. So now we're going to tape this side, pull it off, and put it on the inside there. So just remember, you're not finished with that side just because you put some tape on it, because we have to make the inside part. So on this side, so yeah, there's the inside tape, but now we're going to do the inside tape for the other side. And I'm going to try something here. I'm going to use the edge of that tape. That's something I didn't do before. Shame on me, right? Let's get it on there. Let's get it burnished in. There we go. It comes down to there and then comes back up. So there's the edge. I'm saying these things out loud so you can hear my thought process on this. And sometimes it helps. It's like, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing that, and then, you know what I mean? It's like positive self-talk, or whatever you want to call it. It also saves you from cutting another line, so let's work the knife up. And I'm going very slow. I'm applying gentle but firm pressure to get through the tape. And I'm making sure that it's in as much of the corner as we can, so we're not scratching the glass. The glass. It's plastic, I know. And that's really the size of it. Yeah. You can tell my concentration's increasing because my blabbering is decreasing. Everyone's like, thank God. Okay, let's get it there. And this is it, right? It's finesse, it's patience, but it will pay off in the end. And I've seen it, like moving my stuff around on my shelves, like my model airplanes and stuff. If there's an error in the canopy like that, it stands out. Quite honestly, it stands out. If you know it's there and you don't care, hey, you're winning, right? As long as you're happy in the end. Peel that off. Ooh. And rips will happen. Take this spare piece and put it over the side here. Rips will happen. And that's not to say that the mask itself is compromised. Far from it. There's that edge. There it is. A little bit up, a little bit down. That should come away nicely. There we go. Okay, so I've got my scraps off to the side. And once again, we're going to gently release the tape. Where are you? Oh, that's in there really nice. There we go. I want to be careful here too, right? Because you're trying to keep the tape as intact as you can. Intact as you can. And if you were to rip this by accident, it's an accident. Don't stress, just redo it. It happens to me all the time. And it's just something you gotta work with. I'd say the challengingest part of this is getting it in that corner, right? Because we're trying to alleviate the red showing through on either side of the tape. That's way far forward. And we want to make sure that the tape settles into that corner so that the paint doesn't get underneath it. Right? So, could you use liquid mask to do this? Yeah. Just keeping in mind that you gotta make a nice straight line, and you're responsible for whatever happens next. So there it is. Let's see here. And it's kind of difficult to line this up, right? You're not, you don't get to butt it up against a frame and stuff. You have to be a little more, use a little bit more finesse in your technique. So that's what takes this so long. So you get the idea. I'm going to shut up and concentrate on this, and I'll come back to you when it's done. And there we go. There's a little bit of an issue to sort out, but it's done. So what is that issue, you ask? Well, taking into account the thickness of the plastic, here's the other thing, which is, fundamental of shapeology or whatever you want to call it, is that while it's overall the same shape, the dimensions are slightly different. How does that work? Well, here you're going from the outside of the plastic, right? And here you're going from the inside. So it's technically a different distance, if that makes any sense. So the outside of the canopy is a slightly larger surface to cover than the inside. So that's why we're getting those, not so much on the flat one, but on the side ones here. That's the explanation I'm going to stick with. It sounds scientific and professional, which means I'm a big fan. So Oh, yeah, there it is. Or is it? Is it? Is it? Is it really? Yeah. Oh, I love the nitty-gritty. Let's try one more time. I know that applies to certain things, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's such a fine difference that we're going to do this. Like I said, I haven't done this before, so you're discovering things right along with me here. Are you not entertained? Thank goodness for background theme music, right? You can watch me struggle here while listening to G.I. Joe music in the background. Yeah. And it really is just moving it ever so slightly. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, success. Okay. So same thing. You can still see through the plastic back there, but that's because the paint's not all the way around the frame. And it'll be covered up anyway when we mask the front. So now you got the inside of the canopy done. Man, was that painful. I hope it was as painful for you to watch as it was for me to do. I'm just kidding. Hopefully it's not. So now we're just going to do the outside, and that goes much faster, as you saw in the preparation for the inside of the canopy. So we're just going to slap some tape on there, and we'll get back at you. All right, and there we go. We now have a canopy that's masked on the outside and the inside. While this has already got paint on it, you could technically argue not to prime. We're going to prime this just to hide the red, because if there's any bleed through, red's a strong color, so if it bleeds through the green, it's going to drive you nuts. Plus, the inside of the plastic, which is untextured, is super smooth, right? And you don't want to paint on a glossy surface like we spoke about. So by priming that as well, you're going to neutralize the color, the red color in there, plus you're going to give yourself the ideal surface to apply your later color, which in my case is going to be that lovely turquoise color. So this is going to get thrown into the mix for painting, and that's the size of it. So for masking, it's really a matter of patience, right? This is our first time masking clear parts together, and that's really what's required, is patience and multiple efforts to necessarily get it to where you want to get it, and then have an action plan for if you paint it and something goes wrong. We'll talk about the technique for painting this after. Let's pull the Mr. Miyagi, we'll call it after, because we've gone on for long enough just talking about masking a canopy. But as you can see, we have our tape in place on both sides, and we are ready to go. So thanks for watching. I know this one was maybe not the most exciting of the tutorial episodes, but it has to be done because this is a skill set that will prove to be indispensable in this project and in later projects. So thanks for watching. Be cool, be safe, and above all else, have fun. And there's something else fun going on here. Part of the canopy is going to be part of the tutorial coming up very shortly, because while red is a Dreadnok color, it's on the inside too, right? Because this is one solid piece. Anyway, then I was like, wait a minute. There's another way you could do this. So I'm going to show you something. One of my references here, which, I mean, the thing with the Dreadnoks, we talked about them having more than one style of colors. And if you've already come to this conclusion, well done. If not, I'm going to show you something in my G.I. Joe guide here, which made me laugh because I was like, no, there's no way that would look good. And yeah, I was wrong. So let's look at this right here. This monstrosity is the Dreadnok cycle, and you can see all the different colors there, right? It's got the turquoise, now there's purple in there, there's blue and black and a red, right? So watch what happens here. It doesn't have the yellow-green on it so much, but just watch. Just watch. The yellow-green in this will be the substitute for the purple. If you were too timid to frame or mask the canopy and spray it on both sides, and I know that the vein on here is upside down, I don't care. Watch this. When you put all the colors together, this kind of blew my mind a bit. That works. That totally works as a Dreadnok vehicle. So, oh my God, if this could be a blooper reel, it would be. But with the black hull, the blue bins, the emerald green, the yellow green, and leaving that red, totally works as a Dreadnok vehicle. It actually looks pretty cool. It's like, oh man, I didn't want to do these colors. So what I'll say to you is this. Let's call this part of the blooper reel if there ever is going to be one. And you could absolutely do this. I think that looks actually seriously cool. The problem is I'm already committed in my mind to doing it the other way. So if you want to copy this and part here at the tutorial, good luck, be safe, and have fun. But stay tuned for the next episode. Man, why is this stuff always got to happen?